Hello, John Neal here, chalkboard artist, calligrapher and general layabout, to be honest. I'm just retired, so I'm doing all sorts of things. Previously on this channel, vlog 76 I think we're on now. I don't know why I'm numbering them, I keep losing track, but it is 76. And yeah, so I've been flying the drone, of course, and it's been terrific, really enjoyed it. Had it about 3 weeks now. Unfortunately, though, that project is now on pause. Still have the drone, here it is, Mavic Mini. Absolutely brilliant, I love it. However, you see, none of the propellers are broken, they're great, it's fine. But it did basically crashed into a tree, high up in the branches. And I thought that was it, lost it. It was about 25 metres up, a full oak tree in a park. And I thought, well, I'm not going to get it back, so if I can't get it back, I can't replace it. And then fortunately, and as you might be able to see, I have put my name on the top. And somebody rang me up and said they found it. So I went back and picked it up, gave him a bit of cash reward. Thank you very much, that gentleman. And unfortunately, though, there's something on the navigation system which doesn't work. So I had a very interesting time with DJI support. Long story, hilarious story in some respects. I've been given links to pages full of Chinese and all sorts. It was incredible. Anyway, apparently it's going to go off and they're going to fix it or send me another one because I've got paid into a scheme where it can be replaced. So meanwhile, I've had to do something else. So I spend my time sort of focusing on one thing or another. I either do all the drone stuff, or I do some painting, or I do some gardening, or some cycling. It's one thing, then another, then another. How anybody can ever be bored in retirement, I've got no idea. So I've been painting. The autumn colours are just terrific, so I thought I must do one of these, and it takes me 2 or 3 days to work up to it. Found a photograph of a cottage thing for an idea, and then I painted it, and here it is. Ta-da! And so let me take you through that process, if I may. Okay, right, here we go. I love this one.
Pow! Right in the kisser!
This is the image I've got. It's a photograph from a magazine which I've shamelessly copied. A nice little cottagey affair with some tiles on the roof and brick in the chimney. That'll add some different colours, but plenty of space with distant trees. And I've managed to lead the lines into the picture to go to that gate, which is about 1/3 of the way up and 1/3 in from the right. And to add a bit of different texture, I've put detail on that stone wall. I've done the whole of this with pencil first, which I'm rubbing out here. And then I've gone over it with an ink pen, I think 0.2 of a millimetre in size. So having got that sorted, the next thing to do is really just to put on some big blocks of fairly, not insipid, but background washes. It's important to get the paper on a tilt so the water runs down the page. And I'm going to start off with the skies at the top with a sort of an ultramarine blue, quite watery, and you leave a few gaps here and there. And in fact, where my fingers have touched have caused the paint to repel somewhat, which in some ways helps out. Didn't mean to do that, but there it is. Bit of black there now. Payne's grey, in fact. You can do this quite dark because eventually it will dry a lot lighter. Watercolour is like that. But it's fairly random, and then just sort of leave it to sit and do what it's going to do. I'm going to carry on down the rest of the painting with blocks of colour, and I've taken the blue and the Payne's grey from the sky and added just a bit of yellow and a tad of green just to carry it on through down into the rest of the painting, and maybe a bit of water just to thin it out a little bit. I've tried to avoid touching the roof because that will definitely be a separate sort of colour, but now it's just a matter of blocking out most of the rest of the painting in places where I think the colours are going to be, and then we'll do the rest of the work on top of this. Here we have the paint dry now, and you can see the colours have gone a bit pale, which is fine, that's what happens, so you can put them on quite strong to start with. Right, the next thing to do is to work on the details of the house. I'll just speed this bit up so you can see quickly what I'm doing. The roof here, a couple of colours. I always like to use one or two. It adds a bit more interest. That was a blue and a pale Payne's grey. Here again, a Payne's grey, and probably bring a little bit, there's a bit more blue going in there, which just helps break up the flat surface. Similar to the roof, this little roof on the front there, and that inside of the house there goes very dark. Just add a few more bits as I keep picking them up and adding them to this stone wall. Using the hairdryer now to just dry off all that work, and then we can move on to the chimney. Now what we've got here is a contrast of colours, and this is an autumnal picture, so I'm going to put on the tree on the right hand side there a lot of colours. I just dropped the brush then but I just mopped it up, it doesn't matter. But these colours, these oranges and browns, are very warm colours, and as before I'm trying to put a couple of colours in here. There's a much brighter brown orange colour. I'm not going to name all the colours, I sort of get lost and I probably get them wrong. But what we've got are the colours I've put down so far for the sky in the background are very pale, bluey, sort of cold colours, and they will contrast well, I think, with these autumnal browns, oranges and warm colours. So cool colours and warm colours, I think, is what the contrast is here. Word here now about the windows. Windows are interesting because basically they're holes into the building, so they will be essentially dark inside and you'll see one or two shadows of what's there, but they're invariably covered in glass, which gives a reflection of what's outside, and that's what I'm leaning on here. So I'm using some blues and greys, mostly blue, and they might be a bit darker at the top where the light hasn't got in, so I'll put the colour there and then bleed the colour back into the bottom of the window panes, the glass, and then once it's dry, and later on I'll be able to use a pen to clearly define the window frames as well. So then I've put in the darker colours inside this doorway. It's always interesting on a painting to work out where the very blackest blacks are going to be the darkest colours, because there will always be somewhere where you can virtually put the blackest black you've got in. And I think the looking into a doorway is certainly one of those, around the backs and shadows. Right, now I'm going to just do a little bit more work on these distant hills and woods. Having got one colour down, I can now put another one on and create some more texture and colour. So now I've gone back over the backgrounds here. I love putting wet into wet and add a bit more colour and texture. You'll notice the very blue background there. And while I've got blue on the brush, go back over the roof. And now just add a little bit of shadow with this same grey-blue colour on top of these bricks. I'll pick out the more texture in the bricks with a pen later on. Right, I'm going to colour the shed in over here. I've done it as green, very similar to the right hand side, the trees at the back look. I think it's nice to have a balance of colours across from one side of the painting to another. And I'm just popping in another colour with this green, a bit of a browny colour, just to add a bit of interest. And just dab them all in together. I'm going to fill all those holes, by the way. I don't always like leaving holes in surfaces like that. Then just dab it around and let the watercolour do what watercolour does. Now you can see what is the worst brush in the world. It's an old brush, really tatty and horrible, and I just stab with it. Put on some nice bright orangey brown colour and then just stab away with it. Try not to cover completely, but let the background colours show through. I think this just about balances out the brickwork on the chimney, and I'll add some other colours as I go. Some oranges and yellows, and try and here not to make it just like one big blob of a tree. And then later on I shall add some branches with either a black paint or pen and ink. Well, having done the spots and dots of the foreground. I'll add some more to that later on. It's somewhat random and a bit abstract. This is a sort of a dagger-shaped brush, sword brush, I think you should call it. And it's very useful for doing branches and sort of fairly random lines as it breaks up and makes shapes almost of its own. But having done the tree as it is, I can add some more branches. Not solid, they go behind the reds and browns and sometimes emerge out the top there. But a very useful brush for breaking out and making those tree shapes. I'll say now that tree definitely needs some shadow underneath it to make it look less like it's just plonked there for no reason. To make it sit on the ground and sit into the picture down there, it will need some shadow in that area, far more than that. I put more of that green of the grasses in the foreground up by the stone wall, and now shadow under the eave of this house. It's gone a bit wobbly, but I'll straighten that up later, and a bit more to the side of the chimney. There is a bit more painting to do, but I'm just going to go in with the pen and outline some of the details. I always like to start in the chimneys, I don't know why, and work my way down. Well, there you have it, watercolour painting. That was good fun, I enjoyed that. Might do another one. Pen and ink as well, whether you do the pen and ink before or after, in fact I did both there. Yeah, really like it. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, or should I say you'll see me next time. And have you not subscribed and hit like? Excuse me, I'll have to send the boys around. Anyway, see you next time, bye bye.